The story begins at a time when there was so much shortage of water in the USA that now people can take the lives of others for a drop of water, and because of this, most people had left that place. But Ernest believed that if they got water, trees and plants could be grown once again. And because of this thinking, his whole family was still stuck there. One day, two people tried to break the lock of the small building of Ernest's house, after which he immediately fired at them. One of the thieves also took out his gun, but Ernest finished it at the same time, and seeing this, the other thief standing there started begging for his life. He said that someone had told him that the water was hidden here, but then Ernest's eyes fell on his gun, and he could finish it before the thief opened fire. After this, Ernest's son had done the work in the nearby door, opened the door of which there was a pump behind, but unfortunately they did not get water there, which disappointed them resumed their journey. From there they met the waterman, a group of people who sold water to all the people of the city, which the government had extracted from many deep wells. On reaching there, Ernest gave them some goods. In return, they gave him a little water. Ernest had been trying to get a lot of water to his farm for a long time. They asked for it when they were on their way back. Suddenly, his mule fell down, causing him a lot of injury, and Ernest was forced to shoot him to end his pain. And here Zoram was also very sad about this thing. On reaching home, Ernest's daughter Mary gave him food, after which he started washing utensils from the soil, and here Ernest went to listen to the radio and started drawing Zoram. They often told him all day long. The next one was day Ernest and Zoram arrived at Sam's auction to buy a robot named Sim in exchange for their mule, where they, as well as Sam's son Flame, bid for the robot, and after a thorny collision, Ernest finally bought Sim. After this, they came to meet Ernest's wife Catherine, who could not walk in the hospital after an accident. After that, he could not walk a special machine, and if his family wanted to take Catherine back, they would have to buy a machine too. After spending time with Catherine, they went back home, where on the way they saw Robbie and Suze with their children. Then Ernest and Zoram went to the petrol pump. Yes, after filling the tank of their car, Ernest drank a little petrol, after which he told Robbie and Suze that they did not need to give water to their children. He asked them not to do so. After a while, Flame came to his farm, which was actually Mary's boyfriend, and he came to borrow Sim from Ernest today, for which he was willing to pay money, and Ernest did not trust his tongue, and got angry with this. Flame left, and he threatened Ernest while coming. The next time Ernest started talking to the waterman, he started talking to him because of the waterman. Ernest also started digging a well on the farm so that the waterman could check it. On his way back home, he noticed Flame, which was going at a very fast pace. On coming home, Ernest saw that his robot Sim had disappeared, and Ernest suspected that Flame had a hand behind it, and that's why he immediately went to meet his father Sam, who told him that Flame had always been looking at the mountains since morning. Later, when Ernest went to investigate the mountains, suddenly someone punched him and made him unconscious, and when his eyes opened, he saw that the Waterman gang had surrounded him, who alleged that Ernest had stolen his belongings using a Sim. Ernest tried to convince him several times, but his leader Kelb attacked him, after which he used a gun, and then he used a knife to remove all the people from the right gun. He ran away from there. On the way home, he noticed Flame sleeping nearby, who had stolen using a Sim so that all the blame would come on Ernest. But Ernest quietly pointed his gun and waited for it to be morning, after which he tied Flame to the Sim in which he had kept the stolen goods. And then they started trying to find the water mantis in the scorching sun, while Flame was constantly trying to teach him a lesson. But after a while, both of them were tired of thirst, and Flame somehow persuaded Ernest to drink water, but in fact he had alcohol instead of water, due to which Ernest was getting drunk and Flame was just pretending to drink it. Now, as soon as Ernest stood up to walk back, he had become very drunk, and perhaps this was the plan of Ernest's unconsciousness, and he threw the stone on this occasion. Because of addiction to it happened, and when Ernest regained consciousness, Flame started pouring wine in his mouth again. He shouted a lot at this. He tried to refuse a lot, but Flame did not agree. After this, Flame went to his farm to meet Mary, and she was very happy to see him, and Joram was worried about his father, and that's why he went out to find him. After the night, he saw him standing near the water station near the Sim. He has died. On the day of the funeral, Mary came back and both siblings cried for a long time, after which they both went to the hospital to inform their mother, where Flem came to pick them up. And after coming back home, Zoram started breaking the Sim in anger, and then Flem stopped and started explaining to her. He promised to marry Mary and said that now I am the head of this family and your sister is pregnant too little, working on your own free will. On the same day, Flame went to meet Kelb with some items and asked him to put a pie in place of the stuff to his farm, for which Kelb refused at first. But when Flame reminded him that his gun and knife had been found near Ernest's corpse, Kelb got ready for this out of fear. A few days later, he started to see a new hand pump in the farm, and now he started working hard to grow a few weeks later. The harvest began to grow in the farm, and to celebrate this joy, Mary and Flem decided to get married, in which they made the first letter of each other's name on their hands. During the party, Flem was thinking about Ernest Ernest's death while drinking alcohol. A few days later, Sam came with two men to meet Flem. In fact, Ernest had taken a lot of debt, and he wanted to help him with his bike, but he wanted to help him to get down. No one had land except this, and now because of the crop growing on the farm, the bankers could easily sell it, and if Flame did not want to lose all this, he would have to pay money. That night, Flame put Robbie and her child in the truck with Sim, saying that he would know the price of Sim in the market, but when he reached the market, he sold her child without Robbie's wishes, and when he tried to ask for his child back, he ran away, and during this time, some bullets also hit the Sim, and the factory mode was activated in it, after which he started moving towards his factory on his own free will. The next day, Flame sold the money sold to the child, and filled it in the bank and told everyone at home that he had sold the Sim robot to Robbie. On the other hand, Sim had reached his real owner Calvin, who read Ernest's name and called him to his farm and called him on the same day. After that, he called him to check. While eating, Zoram asked Flame about Robbie, but he said that Robbie had turned away from his family after buying Sim. But Zoram wanted to know the truth, and that's why he lied at home and left to cross the border. But he was stopped because he was a minor at the border, and then he met Anna, who could get him across the border in exchange for money, and after a few hours after which, Zoram got ready to get him in a truck full of chicken. Like Joe's room, he was watching for the first time. After getting off the truck, he met Anna once again, who had brought him to the factory, but Anna took only half the money from him for work. After this, he went to the room and met Calvin, who told him about all the functions of the Sim, and at the same time, he told him that there was actually a camera in Sim's eyes, which records everything all the time. And after seeing his recording, Calvin had left Joram alone. It was Flame, and seeing this, he started crying loudly. That evening, for the first time after many years, it rained on the farm, and after coming back here, Jerome treated Flame exactly the same way before and told him about Sim, who was now standing in the garage, and to hide his lies, Flame said that Robbie might have left him out of shame. One day, Flame and Jerome were not targeting animals, but he was targeting a gun. The gun of the dead. He stood in front of him, but he controlled himself and hunted only the deer. When he came back home, Zoram hid the gun, and while eating, he told Flame that Robbie wanted to meet him, but Flame was not ready to accept this. But then the next morning, Flame received a letter that Joram had written to him as Robbie, and in it, Robbie told him that Flame was just looking for his gun before he was called to meet him on the hill. Take a knife and take it. Sim walked towards the hills with Sim, and then on the way he suddenly fell into a pit, which caused him a lot of injury, and he started screaming and asking for help, and then Jerome stood in front of him, who was just staring at him with a stone. Here Flem also immediately understood that Joram knew the truth, and he started begging for his life, and after coming home, he started thinking that he was bored of his unnecessary things. And now with the help of Woe Farm, he could buy a machine for Catherine as well as Zoram, made the entire footage of Sim so far very clear, and with this the movie ends here. See you in our next video. Thank you.